Hello everyone, welcome to Story Time. We are currently reading The Willigrews 2 by Terry Tarbox, and Terry is a local author who has very kindly said that we can read his stories. So thank you very much, Terry. And this book is illustrated by Terry's niece and her name is Wendy. So, this is getting quite exciting now. So we are reading part 4 today, part 5 of the Willigrews and the Mighty Stump of Doom, and they've been captured and put in prison, but they've actually found some Willigrews that they thought had been missing for a very long time. So let's find out what happens. So snuggle up, sit down, and let's carry on. There before them stood Vodrabo, Enog, Dornig, Colmander, Benmander, and Nostrilgraw, looking a bit thin, but happy to see their friends. All the Willigrews hugged one another. The 6 looked very weak and thin and explained that they were only given 1 bowl of grass soup a day. Longstint happened to have a few chickweed biscuits in his bag, so handed them around. They were gratefully scoffed down, followed by 6 loud burps and 6 beg pardons. Rusin assured the others that he would think of a plan to get them all out and back home to Willigrew, but just needed a bit of time to think. They all sat in a circle, as Willigrews do, and talked about what had been happening back home and all the adventures and gossip. It was dark outside by now, and Rusin still hadn't come up with a plan. Just then there was flapping, followed by a soft tweeting sound, and through the prison bars came little Duffy Scrannock. "Quickly," he said. "There was only 1 guard on duty, and I sent him to sleep with my fairy dust in a small paper bag. Remember, all you have to do is sprinkle it and make a wish." "OK," said Longstint, and sprinkled his fairy dust in the small paper bag on the cell door. "I wish this door would open." They waited just a few moments, then the door swung open and all the Willigrews quietly filed out. "This way," whispered Duffy. "There's an escape route through the tall grass." They all followed the little bird, keeping as quiet as they could until they reached safety. Once they were out of earshot, they all did the Willigrew dance again. They were feeling so happy. Duffy flew around in circles above their heads, singing a merry tune. The problem for Rusin and Longstint now was whether to complete their missions to get to the top of the mighty stump, or to accompany the other Willigrews back to their homes. After much discussion, drinking of chickweed tea, walking backwards and forwards, and pointing at each other's feet, they decided to carry on upwards. In fact, they were all in the mood for adventure after their escape from the prison, and felt ready for whatever lay ahead. So the 8 Willigrews and 1 bird set off towards the summit. "Let's do the hopping song," suggested Nostrilgraw. The little band moved off in a row, happily hopping and singing, bumping into each other, falling over and getting up again, then falling over again. "Let's all hop and never stop. Let's all hop till we reach the top. 'Cause when you're hopping, there's no time for stopping. So let's all hop and never stop." Duffy landed on the ground and joined in with the hopping, which made the Willigrews laugh and cheer. Then, just as they were getting a bit exhausted, they noticed that the sky had turned dark and gloomy. Rusin said that he didn't like the look of this and that it might be another storm, but just as they were preparing to run for cover, they looked up. What they saw in the sky above them made them all shake with fear. The sight was so fearsome that even Longstint was a bit frightened. A gigantic dragon was hovering above them, snorting fire and a little bit of snot which sprayed the Willigrews from its huge nostrils. Then the dragon let out a loud, ear-splitting scream, like "Ooh la!" It went, making the ground shake. "You have dared to enter the dragon's realm," roared the awesome monster. "You are all doomed to be burnt to a crisp. I would have done it already, but I do like a bit of scary shouting first." The Willigrews and Duffy were just becoming resigned to their grisly fate when Longstint, who else, spoke. "I must admit, old dragony thing, I'm very impressed with your scary shouting. I've heard lots of scary shouting in my life, but yours is excellent. I would go as far as to say that your scary shouting is second to none. Have you ever thought about entering yourself into the Scary Shouting World Cup? I'm sure you would win." The dragon looked down at Longstint and, with a confused, cross-eyed look on his horrible face, said, "Do you really think think so. I do practice a lot in my spare time. That's probably why I'm so good. Longstint continued. And that flame-throwing thing you do is even better. Would you show us again? Oh, all right then, replied the dragon. But I will burn you to a crisp when I've finished. The dragon didn't disappoint Longstint. The flames and snot that came from its nose lit up the sky, burning down trees and bushes and making the ground smoke. Quickly, urged Longstint to the others. Clap and cheer. Not quite knowing why, the others did what Longstint said and cheered, clapped, stamped their feet and shouted. Respect! Respect for the snot dragon! Encouraging the dragon to fire out more flame and smoke. More! More! Shouted the Willigrews. However, then, the dragon turned its attention to the cheering group and aimed its angry fire at them. The large flame travelled straight at the little heroes, but to their amazing astonishment it didn't reach them, although they were covered in snot. Drat! Cursed the dragon, looking a bit embarrassed. I've run out of fire. It will take me ages to charge up my nostrils again. I say, you little green chaps, you wouldn't mind hanging around for a couple of days while I charge up my nostrils, would you? I was rather looking forward to burning you to a crisp. Thanks for the offer, mate, but I think we'll pass on that, answered Roosin. Brilliant, shouted Longstint gleefully. My plan worked. Now let's leg it. With that, the Willigrews ran towards the summit as fast as their little green furry legs would carry them. The dragon sat on the ground, looking very miserable, and watched them go, wondering how he was silly enough to fall for Longstint's cunning trick. It didn't take the Willigrews long to reach the top of the stump. Duffy was first and shouted to the others to hurry up, because the view was spectacular. When they caught up, they could only agree. They could see for miles and miles across the countryside. There was, however, one higher place before they reached the absolute top, a small stump of wood. Everyone agreed that because of his quick thinking and calmness under pressure, Longstint should take the last step. Thank you all, said Longstint humbly. As he stepped onto the small stump, he said, This is one small step for a Willigrue, but a giant leap for a Willigrue kind. The others cheered and shouted, Longstint! Longstint! You're the man! You're the man! After eating a supper of chickweed biscuits and tea, they all settled down for the night to get some serious kip. As the food was being shared among 8 now, they decided to try and make it last until they returned home, so they ate slowly to make it last longer. The Willigrews awoke in the morning to the usual sound of Duffy and his morning chorus. Sorry about the noise, he said. It's just my job. Roosin suggested that they try a different route down the stump to try to avoid some of the nasties that they had encountered on the way up, and everyone agreed. Duffy led the way as usual, and the others trundled along behind him. Nothing much happened for a while until they came upon another sign, which read, Here there be more lobe chompers, closely related to the other lobe chompers, on the main path. Okay, come back tomorrow, 2 o'clock, where we will find out what is going on with the lobe chompers and if we have to cover up our ears. So join us tomorrow for more from The Willigrews 2 by Terry Tarbox. I'll see you then. Bye-bye.